with getting his records done and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah. It's been a long journey just for you and I. You know, the time that we've spent together. When I met you, you didn't even have a camera.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Didn't even have a camera, but you had the desire to want to do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my first camera that I got, I remember my dad got it for me for my birthday because we had shot Passing Me By.
Yeah.
And I brought the video home, and we had a cameraman for that shoot, and I brought that video home, and I was like, check this out. And my parents looked at it. I said, I need to get my own camera. And so for my birthday, my dad bought me a camcorder. It was a small one, and it wasn't a big professional video, but he was like, learn how to shoot on that, and then you'll be able to handle one of those by yourself.
Yeah.
And now I've got this fancy camera over here. We're good.
Absolutely.
It's come a long way.
You know, and I remember when you told me that you were going to go to film school, or you were going to go into the film program at the college where you were attending.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of when I knew that, you know, you were going to be the real deal. Because how many people do you know take a risk like that? You know, and I'm sure there's thousands and thousands and thousands, but show business is very it's very roll of the dice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to go in that way, it was a big deal for me. You know, it showed me your level of commitment. So I was like, okay, let's see, you know, the great things that Brandon gets from college. So it just that I think that was one of the pivotal moments in our relationship was when that happened. I knew then that you weren't gonna play with it.
Yeah.
You know, what brought on that decision to want to do that?
When I got out of high school, everyone asked that question, what are you going to do for the rest of your life? Mm-hmm. And I knew that I wanted to write for screen, but my ambitions weren't as strong as they are now. Yeah. And so I was just trying to brainstorm what I could possibly do. And someone said, well, you like commercials. Why don't you write commercials? And I said, I could do commercials. Mm-hmm. And I went to school for it, and just a community college just to get started and figure out what I'm going to do. And I enrolled in the broadcasting program there. Mm-hmm. And one of the professors that I had my first year at school, I was telling her what I wanted. And she was like, well, I don't think broadcasting is for you. I think you should go to MTSU and enroll in their video production program. I guess that's still broadcasting, but she said, I don't think the commercial side of it is the direction that you want to go. I think you want to go into something much larger than that. And I think you should aim for it. And I ended up not like sticking with it for a while. And then when I finally met you guys and we shot some music videos and I got some real hands-on experience, I was like, you know what? She's right. I need to go for it. This is exactly what I want to do with my life. And I went in full time.
Now, what was your experience like when you got to MTSU? What was that journey like?
It was like going on vacation and you left your map at home. Because, you know, we're out in Tennessee, and I feel like the video programs out here they can give you the tools that you need, but there's a lot of information that you don't really get while you're there. So they teach you the basics, at least the program that I went through. I learned the basics, and the rest of it's kind of up to you. And then when I would say, okay, well, how do I take this and apply it? The answer was, well, I don't know. You got to figure that out. And I have no idea how to figure that out. I work at a grocery store to pay my bills. I rely on you to teach me these steps. And we would get people that would come to the school, and they're in they're like the director who shot some of Taylor Swift's early music videos. He came into the school and he gave us like his experience, and he kind of talked about what he did and how the videos worked. And we're seeing, you know, him describe all these things that we're learning in class, and he's applying it and getting paid for it. And it's like, man, this is really possible. Awesome. And then he leaves, right? And then we go back into class, and then we learn something else. And then you go out into the real world. And even though you see people that are in the profession, I got to meet people that are in the profession. Nobody cares. They don't even look at your application. And I just felt like I'm seeing it. I know it's there. I can see that there is something at the end of the road, but there's no road, and I can't figure out how to get there. And nobody seems to want to answer that question. You just got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And so the experience was very enlightening, but also lost at the same time.
And I've worked with several people that have gone through that program also. And it's been my experience that they all have that same struggle.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of them wind up not even doing anything in film at all because from what I've seen, I don't know this to be true, but from my observation, it's like they don't set them up with the tools to be successful past that.
No.
I worked at a radio station with this kid, and he went through the broadcasting part of it, but he wanted to do television broadcasting. The radio thing was just a stepping stone for him to get some experience for him to go on to the next level, as far as that's concerned. And respectfully, he wasn't the greatest at broadcasting. He had a great broadcaster's voice. He spoke like, somebody that would be on the local news delivering the sports. But he didn't have the tools to take it somewhere else. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Now the kid sells cars. Another one of the guys that I worked with just so happened to have gotten a job right out of the gate, right as soon as he left out of school. He got lucky, but it took him, a long time to branch off and do something else past the TV gig. Mm-hmm. And even when he got there, he was just kind of flying by the seat of his pants. He relying on me to put things together.
Yeah.
I looked at it as maybe they teach you how to point and shoot. You know what I mean? Get the best camera angle, figure out how to make your packages look good. But to submit the packages somewhere else, there was no rule book or game plan for that.
Right.
That's just what I saw. So, I got the game just being in the Nashville streets, very young. You know what I mean? As a young musician, and just kind of going out. Now, granted, I've always had a little bit of luck on my side. Even as a youngster, my first business manager ever worked at the urban radio station. So I had access to a lot of things that a lot of the artists back then coming up didn't have access to right out of the gate. You know what I mean? To where I can get the exposure, get my records heard, be in front of the right people, do some of the right things and stuff like that. But if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have, I probably wouldn't be doing it how I do it today. Because a lot of these kids, they don't get a blueprint. Right? They don't. And that's not really one, but you still probably need somebody to kind of point you in the direction that you need to go in to get the type of growth that you're looking for.
Sure. Well, and in the video world, it's very much just go out and hustle and get the jobs that don't really pay and work your way up until you meet someone that'll give you a chance. And I know people that I went to school with and that I've just met, like out shooting videos for people. And I've seen that life and it just didn't appeal to me. Yeah. Like I grew up, I had everything that I needed, but the financial status in my family was very low.
Right.
And I see people that are, in their 30s just out struggling and trying to make it in Hollywood and waiting tables and, doing all the grunt work that they can to keep the lights on until they finally land that next job that really won't pay much more than what they're already doing. And I just sat back and said, I know this is the route that I feel like I should go, but I've lived that life. I don't want to continue to live it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to figure out another way.
Yeah.
And it kind of slowed down my progress for a long time, just trying to figure out where to go next. But over the last several years, some doors have opened up, and I've kind of realized the path I need to go on now, and it's growing every day. So it's really just about finding where you fit in, I think, and then not giving up and following that path. And I think that's probably the biggest successful way to grow, I think. You know what I mean? I don't want to get stuck in those jobs that you don't really like just so you can say, well, I'm doing something. And that's great. But for me, that didn't work.
And that is kind of the path that I took. I'm total opposite end of that spectrum. My younger years were spent in waiting tables and bartending and things of that sort. I did a lot of that just to have the freedom to, number one, not lock myself into some job. Mm-hmm. I always felt like if I just do a hustle like waiting tables or bartending or something menial like that, where you could make a lot of money but still have a lot of freedom, if the job don't work out, fuck that job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So and you get gigs in the meantime.
Right.
I had gotten a job, like a real job, for a show on Viacom. And when I got the job, I had 2 jobs. Show. It's the peanut butter magic show.